Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sister
I was just
Bumps.
taking a nap because I'm so tired.
I know, I get
I was doing
it.
this.
I know, I'm so tired.
That can happen on Sister Bumps. We're taking naps.
Yeah. It happened when I used to film.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's just like the lights are bright and it's like so easy to just like close your eyes a little bit.
Also, this human growing process is tiring.
Casey makes fun of me because like if I haven't eaten or if I'm tired, I'm like, do you know what I'm doing right now? I am growing a human being inside of me. And he always teases me.
It's like, I'm going to make a shirt that says, I'm growing human. I'm like,
I am.
it's hard.
The other day, I kind of caught him off. I was saying something, joking around, and I was like, don't you know what I'm doing? And he was like, what? Like, you don't know what I'm doing? He was like, what? I was like, I'm growing a human being inside of me.
I was like, what were you doing? What'd you do?
That's what I was doing. It is a lot of work, and it's like, I feel like the older you get too, the more just exhausted you feel.
Yeah.
Physically and emotionally, because you have like more kids and more going on, and it's just like.
Do you forget you're pregnant? And so it's like you just start living your life and then you're like, at the end of the day, you're walking like this. And I'm like, why am I walking like this? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. Like,
Oh yeah, this.
yeah, I forgot about this.
Well, you know what? I gain weight in my legs first always, like no matter what. And same with my pregnancies. I've gained weight. And my thighs are really starting to rub. And I was like, great, now I have this belly and my thighs are rubbing and I'm totally waddling. It's cool. It's just a part of pregnancy. It doesn't really bother me to gain weight when I'm pregnant. It's just like a part of it, and I know that it's going to be okay after.
Yeah.
But
That's what I'll
the
keep
rubbing
telling
of the
myself.
thighs, I'm like, this is uncomfortable.
I feel like when I take off my bra, my boobs rest on top of my belly, and then I like have that oil on there, and they're like slipping off each other. I'm like, that's a really unflattering feeling.
That's so funny.
Like,
So this is kind of like what I wanted to talk about today because we do a lot of updates on our channels.
Yes.
So be sure to check those out. You are how many weeks?
26 weeks.
Like 26 and a half?
Almost, 26 and a half, almost 27.
Okay, I'm 24 weeks.
Oh, that's crazy because that means we're almost in our third trimester, which is we're almost done. Because 28 weeks, right? Is it 27 or 28 weeks? You're in your
I'm
third
not
trimester.
sure.
I've read
I
two
always
different
know like
things.
the second trimester because I'm like, please let me feel better, at that point. But I can't remember.
Have you been throwing up still?
I do every once in a while, but I'm feeling so much better. So
Good.
like no complaints here. I'm so grateful every single day. I literally wake up and I'm like, thank you so much. I'm so happy that I feel
Bless your
better.
heart that you have to be grateful for not throwing up.
It is really a good day when I don't throw up.
Yeah. I like thinking back, I was really like emotionally and like just didn't feel well at all in the first trimester. And there were days where I like could not get off the couch and I felt pathetic because I was so tired. But then I remember thinking like, I'm not even throwing up. Like, why do I feel like I'm feeling so crappy? But then every woman is just so different. You know, some women never get any of that. And that's awesome for you.
I think that I want to talk about different and weird things that happen during pregnancy. Like
Yes,
things
unedited.
that we don't always talk about because we are worried about people thinking that we're not grateful or we don't feel like this is a blessing because it is. Like pregnancy is a miracle.
Right.
The fact that we're able to grow a human being inside of us is the greatest thing. Something that I am most grateful for because I'm so grateful to have my kids and I don't ever want to take away from that. But there are some really crazy things that happen. There are some really hard things that happen, like just not feeling like yourself. That is a really strange feeling to just
Yeah.
feel like you're a different person.
That's a good way of putting it. Like foreign in your own body. And it's like this thing is moving, but you don't feel like it's yours. It's almost like these arms are not mine.
Yeah.
Like getting out of the bed in the morning, I'm like, this body is not mine.
Like, why can't I
I'm
function
so
like I used to?
And then I'm
It's
like,
just
oh yeah.
really weird. Or you mentioned, we were talking about this, that it's almost like an out-of-body experience. Like you're someone else, like watching you like try to function or try to feel like yourself and it's just not happening.
Yeah.
You don't have control over your hormones. You don't have control over bodily functions and things that are just happening.
Oh my gosh,
And
it's the worst part.
I think we need to prepare
People
those of
for
you
that.
who have never been pregnant or those of you who are pregnant and you think like, what is wrong with me? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like these things are weird? I am
It's
grateful.
not.
It's so normal. Like it doesn't take away from your gratitude
Right.
to talk about things like this.
Plus, it's just fun, like, to vent with your friend. You know,
Yeah.
like, it'd be like just if you were venting about your job. Like, I could flip that around and say, well, at least you have a job. Be grateful. But sometimes it's just fun to talk about, like, the weird, awkward things because I remember when I was, like, Jackson and I were going through that, like, trying to get pregnant and every month it wasn't happening, I was just, like, feeling so bitter and, like, ugh. like so victimized, you know. It's like a really personal thing. And there were girls that I was following, like bloggers or whatever, and they were pregnant and they were complaining about like getting bigger. And I remember feeling like, oh, they should just be grateful that they can get pregnant, you know, like who cares if you get big? And now that I'm in this situation, I'm like, of course I'm grateful. Of course I wouldn't have it any other way in the entire world. But it is still really hard to like have your body go through these things that feel so foreign and not like that you're used to feeling and you don't love it, but you do love it. And it's just like, then you guilt yourself for not loving it because you do love it. And you're like, what is this?
And I think you have to like talk about it and almost laugh about it to get through it sometimes. So I made a little list, and you can add to these too.
Oh no.
So these are some weird things that happen while you're pregnant. Okay, so this is something that happens to me almost immediately. Like this is one of the things that happens and I'm like, oh, I might be pregnant. That's happened to me a couple of times. It hurts me so bad when I sneeze. Oh. So that's when I immediately know that I'm pregnant. It feels like my uterus is like ripping and popping.
Oh my gosh.
It's a really, really weird.
That has not happened to me.
That hasn't happened to you. I always feel
Is
that
it
way.
from those muscles, like they immediately know what they're about to do, so they're
don't
like
know.
starting to...
I don't know, but it just feels like they're ripping apart.
My butt's falling off.
If this happens to you, the best thing to do is like to kind of like crouch down and then sneeze so that everything is kind of, you're like
tightened up.
Yeah, holding yourself. Because if I like am laying down and I sneeze and I literally like fall out of my bed, it hurts so bad.
That's scary.
So that is something that is really weird that has happened to me. Something else that is really weird is that you start to get like weird spots on your body. Like if you have any dark spots, they'll get darker.
Oh yeah.
You'll also get the line up your belly that is called the linean.
I call it the, what's it called? The middle of the line that runs through the earth. Don't judge me.
The equilibrium.
Yeah.
What is that?
Equator.
We'll leave the real word of that down here. But you do get a dark line that goes up your belly.
Just like, whoop.
I think that they say like 3 out of 4 women get it. So not everyone will get it. But I usually get it at the very end.
Yeah, mine's still pretty light. I do get like more belly hair. Like around that line. It's kind of weird.
I know, I do get more hair too. I don't like it. It goes away though.
Yeah.
So does this line. That goes away, but it can take like a few months after you have a baby. And some women's never go away. Do you know that?
That's kind of cool though.
Yeah.
You know?
Just like something. I've always thought it was cute. Like, oh, it's here. It's back. So something else that happens is your nipples get darker.
I wouldn't say your nipples get huge.
Yes,
they get scary and huge.
They get bigger and they get darker. And this is something that I think women always talk about with each other.
Online on the internet.
The funniest thing, I was talking to some of my friends at the salon, and my good friend was like, mine got so big. And she was like showing me the size, and we were talking, and we looked over it, and this man was like listening to our conversation. So this happens so that when you are getting ready to nurse your baby, after you have the baby can find your nipple. Like, it can get to the food. So that is why it happens.
It's literally like a landing target for a mouse.
They do go back to normal, I think, most of the time.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm like, do they?
Yeah. Mine always did. I remember when I was pregnant with Braylee, I was looking in the mirror and Casey walked in and he was like, and I was like, I know. And he was like,
shoot your eye out.
He was like, are they going to go back to normal? And I was like, I have no idea what's going to happen. Okay, so something else that is happening with both Carlie and myself is our bellies are getting bigger. And this is only going to increase. And it can affect the day-to-day things like being able to bend over and pick something up. I was just telling Colette, like, I feel like I'm just like doing squats, picking up toys because I can't like bend over comfortably anymore. Yeah. So it's like a squat to pick up toys.
It'd be fun to do like a montage of how pregnant women bend down because I feel like everyone does it a little bit different. I do like the one leg straight, and I do like a teeter-totter and bend over. Like with this, like will balance me. I think it's like the official move is like an RDL. It's like you're working out to do it. Mm-hmm. But I can't squat down because it like hurts my knees and I don't think my muscles are strong enough to support my body weight right now. So I have to like keep one leg straight and I take the other one and like do like a little arabesque and then come back up.
That's hilarious.
I kick things off the counter though. You squat?
I totally
squat. So you work it on your booty. That's a good idea.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I do squat awkwardly. Something else is it's hard to reach things. Like your belly gets in the way, and so you're like trying to reach for things.
If I drop something, I really consider, I'm like, do I really need to pick that up right now? Because it's so much harder. I'm like, I'll just get it in a minute.
Yeah. Or like tying your shoes. Didn't you say Jackson ties your shoes?
Yes.
So it's like stuff like that starts happening at this point.
I told TSA when I was going through sorry, I just had a hiccup. I get random hiccups in the middle of my sentences. I was going through TSA and they were like, all right, take off your shoes, ma'am. And I looked down and it was just like one of those days. I was like, I'm not taking off my shoes. You can pat me down all you want. I'm not taking them off. She was like, okay.
Did she pat you down?
Yeah. I go, I don't think that pregnant women should have to take off their shoes. Like, you can pat me down, send me through extra screening. I don't care. But as long as you don't take off my shoes, you can get my pants and my shirt off. I don't care. But I am not taking off my shoes.
Not about to tie these.
She was like, funny. It was when I was coming back from Canada, though, and I had these big, like, boots that, like, laced all the way up. That was a dumb move on my part. But I was like, I'm not doing that. That already took me 10 minutes this morning.
Have you, like, I also noticed that, like, I knock things over with my belly. Have you done that? Like, I'll turn and, like, bump things or, like, knock things off of the counter.
Or you'll think you're, like, smaller and try to fit through somewhere and you're like, oh, dang it.
Oh, my gosh. I parked to go to a doctor's appointment and I parked next to the wall and I was like, I have plenty of room.
Yeah.
And I went to get out and I was like, I can't suck this in. I'm stuck in here.
I always feel bad because, like, I'll bump it. I'm like, sorry, Elliot. Hope that didn't hurt.
And another thing that I've noticed when my belly gets bigger, I start using it as like a tool, like to shut the cupboard. Or when I worked at the salon, I didn't realize that I was always turning my chair.
With your
belly?
My
hair chair with my belly. So that's
like you really are growing another appendage, you know?
And then it goes away and you're like, oh, I can't use that anymore.
Dang it.
Okay, so something else that happened to me that can happen to a lot of women is your vision can change.
I've read about that.
So mine did, and it was at the beginning of my pregnancy, and I knew that my eyes, like I needed to get my eyes checked. I knew that it was kind of bad, but my vision got way, way worse, and I was nauseous from morning sickness.
Oh, gosh.
And I had to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
And your vision can change with each trimester, and then once you have the baby, your vision can change.
That's so crazy.
You kind of have to keep checking it, but that is something that is normal.
Our bodies go through. That's insane.
Yeah.
That's a bad combination if you're already feeling sick and then you're like, I'm
That's
seeing
why
double.
I had to. When I was driving, it wasn't that my vision isn't terrible, but it was bad enough that I was getting car sick on top of my morning sickness, and I was like, I have to fix this.
Yeah.
And it was before I had told anyone that I was pregnant. And so I was just like, I'm getting car sick when I drive. And that's why my kids said I was so sick.
They're like, what's wrong with Mom?
When I was pregnant, because I couldn't see. Aww. So funny. Okay, and then one more that I wanted to talk about is that you really like lose your balance. Your equilibrium kind of gets thrown off, and you can become more clumsy. You drop things. Like, I feel like that has affected me so much this time.
We were in California getting off a flight, and I don't know if it was like from getting off of a flight or what, but we were on the escalator, and all of a sudden I just like started going backwards, like straight up like a tree, like, and I didn't even try to stop myself. I was like, I'm falling. Yeah. And Jackson just grabbed me, he's like, got you. And I like literally just had completely lost my balance. I'm like, that was so weird.
And it's kind of like, you know that you've just lost your balance and you just give up.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm going down. This is gonna hurt.
I fell down my stairs at the beginning of my pregnancy, and I was holding Winston. I have no idea how it happened. I didn't slip on anything. It was just like my leg stopped working and I fell.
Oh my gosh,
and
that's
thank
scary.
goodness we were all okay, but I was just like, what just happened? But I drop things all the time because I'm just clumsy, and it's just like I forget I'm holding anything. I'm just like, whoa.
My words, I cannot put sentences together. I say so many things backwards. Like, it was getting so bad. It's getting so bad that I'm worrying myself. I'm like, do I have a problem? Like, I can't remember things. I say things backwards. I completely will call something the wrong thing. Like, Cooper and I were cleaning up the kitchen one night, and I was like, hey, go put the ketchup back in the bathtub. And he was like, you want me to put the ketchup in the bathtub? Like, trying to be obedient, but like, is that what you really want me to do, Mom? And I looked at him like, yes. Or it was like scheduling a hair appointment. I was like, okay, if you can get me in sometime like July, like I would love that. And she was like, July? It's January. I'm like, yeah, like that's what I meant, you know?
Like, yeah, duh.
Just things that I'm like, and even people in the comments, like on our videos of like, Carlie's pregnancy brain is a thing because I don't even catch myself doing it.
Yeah. It really is a real thing. Like, pregnancy brain is really real.
Jackson pulled up an article, and it's like your brain shrinks anywhere from 4 to 8% when you're pregnant. I'm like, see, I'm losing all
I'm glad.
the
You're going to have to tell me that, because I was telling Casey that I read somewhere and I couldn't find it, that your brain shrinks, and he was like, no, it doesn't, and he Googled it, and it said that it didn't.
It does.
I was like,
Jackson read an article. Let's go with my husband's answer.
Yeah.
Then I have something to blame it on.
Yeah. Is there any other weird things that you can think of?
I was trying to think of sleeping is like, I've always been a sleeper. Like, I can sleep anywhere. I love taking naps, but sleeping is becoming a little bit harder. Like, my back is starting to hurt more. And I've noticed, like, I usually sleep on my side or my belly when I'm not pregnant, and I love those positions. Now that's not comfortable for me, and I realize the best position is, like, if I sleep on my back and, like, kind of open my hips up and put my hands up either on my head or underneath pillows. And Jackson hates it because he's like, it's like you're sleeping. It's like when you're pregnant, you sleep like you're like a drunk octopus looking for your car keys because my arms are everywhere. And I don't know why, but like I want my arms out when I'm pregnant. Sleeping's been one thing. Food, like food aversions in the beginning. I wasn't really craving like weird things. I've always wanted to be pregnant and like wake up in the middle of the night and be like, go get me pickles and mayo and ketchup or like something weird. But more than anything, I was like avoiding things that I love normally, like soda. But I don't know. My pregnant brain is too forgetful right now to think of things. But I think everything you touched on, the boob thing, the nipple thing. Or I don't know about you guys, but one thing that's been hard for me is like I haven't gained, like I feel like I've gained way more weight than I actually have. But your hips also like start to open up like this, like widen. And I forget that they go back. Like they won't ever, and I can't say ever, mine never went back to where they were before I got pregnant. Also because we're like, you know, teenage girls, not teenage girls, but that like younger. And they do go back, like I did get smaller, but I forget like your hips start to open up and I'll look in the mirror. I'm like, why am I such a wide bust right now?
Yeah. That's why you can't compare yourself to anyone else because everyone's bodies kind of do different things at different times.
Yeah.
Like your hips, like mine always seem to kind of move at the very end of my pregnancy. And so,
your body just knows, and it's crazy, and it's like such a blessing, and you're trying to remember that, but like your body literally is taking 9 months to prepare you for this one day. There was a guy in my church who was speaking, and he's actually my OB. He was like, giving birth is like the closest thing you can do to dying on earth without actually dying. I was like, oh, go women.
Yeah.
Go moms.
We should do another one of these videos, like weird things that happen after you have a baby.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's something a lot of people don't talk about.
Yeah.
And preparing you for like the postpartum stuff and even like the hospital. But oh my gosh, we're almost there. 3rd trimester.
Oh my gosh, it seems so crazy. It seems like time is going by, but standing still.
Yeah.
Like April is not going to get here soon enough.
Only pregnant women understand that statement. Like time is going by fast. We're already almost at 28 weeks, but at the same time, it's like, oh, we have to go tell April.
Yeah.
We got this.
Yeah, we got this. Anyways, like I mentioned, we both have done pregnancy updates on our individual channels, so be sure to check those out. And if you want to see anything else from us, let us know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.